Welcome to another video. Today we will talk about something that almost every person wants. A strong memory. Many people think they have a bad memory. They say, I forget names. I forget ideas. I forget what I studied after. Sometime they start to believe that their brain is weak. But the truth is very different. Your brain is not weak. Your brain is powerful. The problem is not your brain. The problem is how you use it. Think about this for a moment. Every day your brain receives a huge amount of information. Messages, videos, conversations, problems, plans, and many small details. Your brain is trying to process all of it at the same time. When too much information enters your mind, it becomes overloaded. And when your brain is overloaded, it becomes harder to remember things, so forgetting does not always mean you are not smart. Many times it only means your brain is tired or full. The good news is this: memory is a skill, and like any skill, it can grow stronger. When you learn the right methods, remembering becomes easier. Much easier than most people think. Look at students who remember long lessons. Look at people who remember many names, numbers, or stories. Most of them are not born with a special brain. They simply learned better ways to use their memory. Your brain loves meaning. Your brain loves images. Your brain loves stories. But many people try to remember information in a very boring way. They repeat words again and again without understanding them. They read something once and expect their brain to keep it forever. Sadly, that is not how memory works to remember something for a long time. Your brain needs connection. It needs attention. It needs emotion. When information has meaning, your brain holds it longer. For example, think about a movie you really liked. You probably remember many scenes. Maybe you remember the characters, the story, and even some lines. But why? You did not study the movie. You simply watched it. The reason is simple. The movie created emotion and images in your mind. Your brain loves that. So it keeps the memory. Learning works the same way. When you turn information into images, stories, and clear ideas, your brain understands it faster and remembers it longer. Another important thing is focus. In today's world, focus is rare. Many people try to learn while checking their phone, watching short videos, or thinking about 10 other things. The brain cannot build strong memories when attention is broken. Again and again, strong memory begins with simple attention. When you give your full focus to one idea, your brain starts building a stronger connection. So, the first step to remembering more is not magic. It is awareness. You begin to notice how your brain works. You stop blaming your memory. Instead, you start training it, and here is something important to remember. You do not need a perfect brain. You only need better habits. Small changes in how you learn, read, and think can transform your memory over time. In this video, we will explore simple and powerful memory ideas. Ideas that can help you remember information faster and keep it longer. Not complicated science. Just practical methods that anyone can use. By the end, you will start to see your mind in a different way. Not as a weak tool, but as a powerful system that only needed the right direction. And once you understand how memory really works, forgetting will no longer control you. Instead, you will begin to control what your mind remembers. Now that you understand that your brain is not weak, the next step is to learn how memory really grows. Many people believe memory is something fixed. They think you are either born with a good memory or a bad one. That idea is simply wrong. Your memory changes every day. It grows when you train it, and it becomes weaker when you ignore it. In many ways, memory is like a muscle. When you use a muscle often, it becomes stronger. When you stop using it, it slowly becomes weaker. Your brain works in a similar way. But there is something interesting about the brain. It does not remember everything. In fact, your brain is designed to forget many things. This might sound strange, but forgetting is actually helpful. If your brain tried to keep every small detail from every day, your mind would become completely overwhelmed. So the brain makes choices. It decides what information is important and what information can disappear. The problem is that many people never show their brain what is important. They read something once, think about it for a few seconds, and then move on to something else. The brain looks at this behavior and decides the information is not important. If you want to remember something, you must give your brain a reason to keep it. One simple way to do this is repetition. When your brain sees the same idea again and again, it starts to understand that the information matters. But repetition alone is not always enough. Repeating something without thinking about it is like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. A better method is active thinking. This means you do more than just read or listen. You pause and think about the idea. You ask yourself simple questions. What does this mean? Why is it important? How can I use this idea in my life? When you ask these questions, your brain becomes active. And when your brain becomes active, memory becomes stronger. Another powerful trick is to connect new information with something you already know. The brain loves connections. When a new idea connects to an old memory, it becomes easier to store and easier to find later. For example, if you meet a person named Rose, you can imagine a red rose flower in your mind. Now the name has an image. That small image makes the name easier to remember. This may sound simple, but simple methods are often the most powerful ones. Many memory experts use imagination to remember long lists, numbers, or speeches. They turn information into pictures and stories inside their mind. Our brains are very good at remembering images. much better than remembering plain words. Another important secret is time. Your brain needs time to move information from short memory to long memory. If you learn something today and never review it again, your brain slowly lets it go. But if you review the idea later, maybe the same day or the next day, the memory becomes stronger. Every review tells the brain this information is important. Keep it. Small reviews over time are much more powerful than studying for many hours only once. So instead of forcing your brain, you guide it. You give it focus. You give it meaning. You give it connections. And slowly your memory begins to change. At first, the difference may feel small. But with practice, remembering things becomes easier. Names stay longer in your mind. Ideas become clearer. Learning becomes faster. And the best part is this: once you understand these simple principles, you realize something powerful. Your memory was never the enemy. It was always waiting for you too. Learn how to use it the right way as you begin to practice these ideas. Something interesting starts to happen. Your brain slowly becomes more organized. Information does not feel as heavy as before. Instead of feeling confused, your mind begins to see patterns. One powerful habit that helps memory grow is writing things down. Many people think writing is only for school or work, but it is actually a strong memory tool. When you write something with your own words, your brain processes the idea in a deeper way. Reading uses your eyes, but writing uses your mind and your hands together. This small action creates a stronger connection in your brain. Even writing a few keywords can help your memory hold information longer. Another useful method is teaching. Yes, teaching. When you explain an idea to another person, your brain must organize the information clearly. You begin to notice what you truly understand and what you do not. If you cannot explain something in simple words, it usually means you do not understand it well yet. But when you explain it again and again, your understanding becomes stronger. And when understanding becomes stronger, memory becomes stronger too. This is why many great learners use a simple rule. Learn it, write it, and then teach it. But there is another secret that many people ignore. Your brain needs rest. In a world full of noise, many people try to learn all the time without giving their mind a break. They watch videos, read information, and scroll through endless content. The brain cannot organize memories in constant noise. It needs quiet moments. When you rest, when you walk, or when you sleep, your brain begins sorting information. It decides what to keep and what to forget. Sleep is especially important for memory. During sleep, the brain strengthens the memories you created during the day. This is why people who sleep well often remember things better. So, if you want a stronger memory, do not only study harder, also rest better. Another habit that improves memory is curiosity. When you are curious, learning becomes natural. Instead of forcing your brain, you invite it to explore. Ask simple questions about what you learn. How does this work? Why does it happen? Where can I use this idea? Curiosity keeps your brain awake and interested. Interest creates attention. Attention creates memory. When something is boring, the brain quickly lets it go. But when something feels interesting or meaningful, the brain holds it longer. This is why stories are powerful. Humans have used stories for thousands of years to share knowledge. A story connects ideas, emotions, and images together. And your brain remembers that combination very well. So, when you want to remember something, try to turn it into a small story in your mind. Even a simple story can make a big difference. Over time, these small habits begin to change how your brain works. You focus more. You understand ideas faster. You remember details longer. And the most surprising part is that remembering stops feeling difficult. Instead of fighting your memory, you begin working with it. Little by little, the skill of remembering grows. Not because your brain changed overnight, but because you finally started using it in the way it was designed to work. As you continue practicing these habits, you start to notice something important. Remembering is no longer about forcing your brain. It becomes about guiding your brain in the right direction. Many people try to remember everything at the same time. They read too fast, collect too much information, and move quickly from one idea to another. This creates confusion in the mind. When the brain receives too much information without structure, it struggles to keep anything clear. A better approach is simple learning. Focus on one idea at a time. Give that idea your full attention. Understand think about it, and connect it with something you already know. When you do this, your brain builds stronger memory paths. Another powerful habit is reviewing information at the right time. Most people study something once and expect their brain to keep it forever. That is not realistic. Memory becomes strong through small reviews over time. When you review an idea after a short time, your brain strengthens the connection. When you review it again later, the memory becomes even more stable. This process slowly moves information from short memory into long-term memory. You do not need many hours for this. Even a few minutes of review can make a big difference. Small effort, repeated over time, creates powerful results. Confidence also plays an important role in memory. Many people repeat the same negative sentence in their mind. I have a bad memory. When you say this again and again, your brain begins to believe it. And when the brain believes it, it stops trying. But when you change that belief, your behavior changes too. Instead of saying, I cannot remember, say, I am training my memory. This small change creates a different mindset. Your brain becomes more open to learning. Your environment also matters. A calm and organized space helps the brain focus. When your environment is full of noise and distractions, attention becomes weak. And when attention becomes weak, memory becomes weak too. So protect your focus. Even short moments of deep attention are more valuable than long hours of distracted learning. Over time, these simple habits create a powerful transformation. You begin to notice that remembering names becomes easier. Learning new ideas becomes faster. Information stays in your mind longer than before. And slowly you realize something that many people never understand. Your memory was never broken. It was simply waiting for better methods, better attention, and better habits. The human brain is one of the most powerful systems in the world. When you respect it, train it, and give it the right conditions, it can remember far more than you once believed. So start small. Practice focus. Create connections. Review ideas over time. Stay curious. Rest your mindestens. And most importantly, believe that your memory can grow. Because the moment you begin training your mind, you stop being controlled by forgetting, and you begin mastering your memory. So remember this: your memory is not weak. Your brain is not broken. Most people simply never learn how memory really works. When you focus your attention, create clear connections, review ideas over time, and stay curious, your brain begins to change. Slowly, remembering becomes easier. You start remembering names. You understand ideas faster. Learning stops feeling heavy. The truth is simple. A strong memory is not a gift for a few people. It is a skill that anyone can train. And when you train your mind, you start unlocking the real power of your brain. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more simple ways to improve your mind, your focus, and your life, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Every week, we share powerful ideas about learning faster, thinking better, and becoming a stronger version of yourself. Subscribe now and start training your mind one idea at a time.